they're not really going to rock the boat, are they? It would seem that the Chinese authorities can get away with terrible atrocities, and
well, the Chinese authorities, Andy, get away not only with terrible atrocities in their own country, but with atrocious intruding around the globe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it. It was either New Zealand or Australia. And I think it was New Zealand, where there was a college newspaper that happened to run an ad for a Chinese cultural presentation, a festival or an evening of Chinese dance and so on like that. Mm-hmm. And that happened to have some kind of connection with the Falun Gong organization, and so the Chinese Student Association, the Communist Chinese Student Association on that university, in the dark of the night, went around the campus and went around the town and stole all of the newspapers.
Yeah. Do you know my feelings, Indy, with the Chinese regime, and if I associate it with the Western regimes? What the Chinese authorities do, they do it openly, and I've got this feeling that the Western governments would be like that if it wasn't for people like us. I mean, under the surface, we do have this subjugation in the UK, sort of against activists, political activists and environmentalists, and I assume it's going to be the same in the United States. So if they could get away with it, President Bush and his cronies and Gordon Brown and his political cronies would do exactly the same thing to people like ourselves.
Well,
it seems
yeah, the same thing to some people like ourselves. Certainly not on a mass scale that they are in China. Mm. But in terms of individual cases where people have, the so-called Patriot Act passed by the U.S. Congress at the behest of the president, just completely strips Americans of all their constitutional rights. Mm. They can arrest you without cause. They can wiretap you without cause. They can hold you unlimitedly, U.S. Mm-hmm. citizen. Mm-hmm. Just because somebody in their black ops government thinks or decides to say that you're a terrorist or that you're a suspected terrorist, you can go off to prison for years and years and years and never have recourse to an attorney or mm-hmm. your family even. That sounds just like Red China to me.
Yeah. It seems to me that they've taken the subjugation of the communist, the greed of the capitalist, the damn right evil of the fascist, and they've molded it into one collective regime, which is possibly going to be the New World Order.
You're talking about the melding of the three evils.
Yeah. Yes, right.
Rampant capitalism in the worst sense of the word. Capitalism also has good senses. Mm. We've got to address that at some point in time. But the worst kind of capitalism, fascism, and communism, all rolled up into one New World Order.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, the worst type of capitalism is that the chemical corporations, for example, the directors, the scientists know exactly what these synthetic chemicals do to the human biosystem and the environment, and they turn a blind eye for the sake of profits. And if I was to drive
in Britain, are chemtrails.
Yeah, we do get chemtrails here, yeah. But I'm not talking about the chemtrails per se. I'm talking about the everyday products we use in our lives. The detergents, even the cosmetics, anything with synthetic chemicals in, right? Mm-hmm. And even the factories that produce them. I actually live next door to a chemical plant here in mm-hmm. North Wales. And, if I was to drive down the road at 80 to 90 miles an hour and go knocking people down, running them over, I'll be arrested, and rightly so. But the chemical industry, Indy, they pump out these toxins every single day, and they kill thousands of people a year. And the onus, it's on the person who's been polluted, the person who's been injured, to prove that the polluter has caused it. They have the judicial system, they have the governmental systems all wrapped up around their little fingers. As we know, because a few of the American administration have their fingers in pies like Monsanto's and DuPont.
I wanted to say that I think it was on the Edge video channel that I first saw that Monsanto documentary which was just shocking to me about the journalists who were stonewalled and threatened by the by the powers in the chemical.
China's consistent use of excessive military force to stifle dissent has resulted in widespread human rights abuses, including multiple cases of arbitrary arrest, political imprisonment, torture and execution. Human rights groups have documented at least 60 deaths of peaceful demonstrators since 1987, and there is thought to be many, many more. In Tibet, human rights groups have confirmed by name over 700 political prisoners, although there are likely to be hundreds more whose names are not confirmed. Many are detained without charge or trial for up to 4 years through administrative regulations entitled Re-Education Through Labour. China is a major player on the international economic scene, and many Western businesses have their interests over there. They make vast profits out of cheap sweatshop labour. China's human rights record is abysmal. This regime is both oppressive, totalitarian, and they don't give a damn about the freedom of the individual or the freedom of speech. In recent weeks, the oppressive Chinese regime have dealt a vile blow to freedoms in Tibet. Monks have been killed, innocent people have died. Most Western governments are just paying lip service against these abuses. They are not going to do a thing, for they have too many business interests there. They make too much profit out of sweatshop labour. So it's up to us. Go to the Edge's action page at theedgeam.com and make a difference. We are running 3 actions on this oppressive regime in China. That's the edgeam.com/edge action. Do you think you can make a difference in a world where there is so much injustice? Does this injustice upset you? Does it make you feel powerless, overwhelmed? I mean, what can one person do? Take action from the comfort of your chair. Make a difference with the new Edge Action area of the Edge AM's website. Make sure you make a difference by going to theedgeam.com/edge action. That's theedgeam.com/edge action. You can make a difference. The Edge radio broadcast is looking for voluntary international correspondents and interviewers. Are you able to talk to someone objectively? Can you set aside your beliefs and allow others to express theirs? Can you ask searching questions whilst remaining impartial? Would you like to be in the forefront of the exploration into the unexplained, politics, religion, environment and health? Do you want to be part of the Edge broadcast search for truth? Most importantly, can you smile and remain friendly even if your belief system comes into question? If you have answered yes to the above, we would like to hear from you. Previous journalistic or broadcast experience is not required, but a deep interest in unmasking the shroud of lies is essential. As a volunteer correspondent, you will become an important member of the Edge radio broadcast staff. More information can be found on the Edge's homepage. Just look for the link "We are looking for Edge correspondents" just under the main media player at www.theedgeam.com. Please note that the role of correspondent is not guaranteed, and it also depends on your willingness to communicate with a wide variety of people who have varied experiences and beliefs, which may not be similar to your own experiences and beliefs. As a correspondent, you will be an essential element in the Edge broadcast search for truth. Just click "We are looking for Edge correspondents"